What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for a review of the new album That's the Spirit by rockers Bring Me the Horizon, a band from the UK. Now if you haven't already, find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the social media stuff. It's linked down below, along with the new app Cymbal. You can find me on there. It's basically like the Instagram for music sharing, me sharing tracks with you that I'm really into at the time and that sort of thing. So if you're not on Cymbal yet, find me, username ARTVReviews. From the depths of generic deathcore to the cusp of arena-ready rock, Bring Me the Horizon have undergone quite the transformation throughout the years. I'm not going to say that I was into their early material because I abstained with it, and I'm willing to admit that. I mean, their debut album just did not have anything for me. I listened to Suicide Season and even the 2010 album There Is a Hell, and the latter of those I did see improvement on, but it wasn't until their saving grace, which is what I kind of refer to it as, the 2013 album Sempiternal, which saw them realizing and waking up essentially, seeing that they could be more than just monotonous and generic metalcore music. I couldn't help but get excited for a new album after loving the majority of Sempiternal. I mean, they released the first single, Drown, about a year ago, and I'm sure fans were thinking, okay, that's the spirit, now let's hear it. Anyone laughing at that joke? See, that's the difference between me and most music critics. I don't cut out the shitty jokes. There's a newly recorded version of Drown that appears on this record, and I don't hear that many differences between that one. In fact, I listened to them side by side, and there are a few things in terms of the production. It seems like they re-recorded some of the guitar lines and that sort of thing. Maybe the drumming is a bit more fervent on the album version, but still, if you like the original, you're probably gonna like this version too. This track relies on a soaring hook and a burning guitar line to really carry it, and to my initial surprise, it actually works incredibly well. In fact, it's one of my favorite tracks on this album. It just further proves that these guys are taking more and more steps in the correct direction. Now, with Sempiternal, I did still have a few reservations about it, even though I did like it. I just felt like it was still a tad bloated and melodramatic. It was like they wanted to kind of strip away a lot of the elements of metalcore, but they didn't quite know how to do it without trying to sound like really big and apocalyptic with every song, if that makes sense. That's the Spirit is a title that instantly got stuck and engraved inside my head. I really like it for some reason. It just clicked with me, and it made me even more excited for the record. It's so snarky, and it seethes with sarcasm, especially whenever you tear into the meaning a little bit more. This is an album that deals with issues of trust, self-loathing, friendships and relationships, and maybe even more importantly than that, learning to accept all of those things and move on. On more than one level, they come through with all of this pin-up rage regarding how they see things in the world and channel it into their music like they've never even touched on before. It's been a while since I've listened to an album one time and just knew that it was something that I was really gonna love and be coming back to for more and more listens. Bring Me the Horizon blew my expectations out of the water by creating an album that's really just like a bunch of moving body parts. Without one, things don't function properly. From the swinging symphonics of True Friends to Blasphemy's slow-lit fuse that really just ignites and does wonders, and even the angst-ridden vocal performance of Run, That's the Spirit really doesn't let up during its 45-minute runtime and just grips the listener for almost every single minute. The band began unveiling new songs this summer, beginning with Happy Song, a bitter ode to the world that Psych sees around him on a weekly basis, and while it does feel a tad bit choppy with its quick-fire verses that lead straight back into that shout-along chorus, I found that it grows on you with repeated listens. The song instantly reminded me of early to mid 2000s radio rock mixed with a taste of grunge that'll just leave that lingering on your eardrums. It's probably the heaviest track that you're going to find on this record, featuring these thundering riffs, a harsher vocal tone all throughout, but I think that I really started connecting with this song once I realized that I just agreed with the message of the tune through and through. It's like we're fed bullshit on the daily, we just have to see all of this stuff, and it's like, oh, it's all well and good, but it's okay as long as we're sitting there smiling and waving. Especially loving the breakdown of this tune. I think that's probably one of my favorite parts. I must have totally been sleeping on it the first few times that I played it, because the first time that I played it in the context of the album, I was kind of like, holy shit, this is really catching my ear. What You Need had a similar potency, showcasing the band's newfound success in the game of attack and release. This album is stuffed full of well-served choruses, with What You Need resonating as one of the band's most powerful and best hooks to date. It's got a hypnotizing riff that's flying around in the background that slowly turns into a growl and meshing nicely with the keys and the drums once the hook rolls around. Keyboards and electronics play an important role in this album once again, just like last time on Sempiternal, sounding just as nice whenever they pop up on moments like the aforementioned tune, Happy happy song, and then of course on the atmospheric closer, Oh No. It's not that they really steal the show here, it's the fact that they blend nicely with the other instruments. It's not that they detract from the guitars or the drums or the bass, it's just that they pair up nicely and just sound quite nice. And I also like the fact that the guitars don't really feel the need to always be the center of attention. My favorite example of that is the track Run. It's definitely more electronically inclined, built off of a few vocal samples and some glitchy synthesizers which actually sound quite nice, and of course a pounding drum line to tie it all up nicely. I wasn't as huge on the tracks Doomed and Follow You, which did step further into this experimental territory, but both have proven themselves worthy the more I paid attention to them. What do both of these tracks have in common? Well, Sykes tried out his falsettos on both of these tracks, and I have to say, Ollie, the world is still not quite ready for those. I'm glad that you're singing, you're doing a great job on this record the majority of the time, but it's not quite time to pull out the Adam Levine-styled notes just yet. I thought Follow You was much stronger during its verses, falling off a bit with its underwhelming chorus, and then on Doomed, I feel like it's a bit inferior to its peers. I say that mainly because it reminds me of a lit firework that just never really fully explodes. It's like the fuse lights gets all the way up there, and then you're just like, is it gonna go off? Because this album just did not start with the momentum that it really wanted to, even though the potential was there. I'm sure you guys are curious as to what I thought of the pre-release singles from this album, so let's go ahead and chat about them, starting with the track Throne. My initial reaction to this track, well, it's good, but it's not great. By leading in with that, you probably think, oh, he probably loves it at this point, but sadly that's not the case. It has grown on me some, but it's still not without its flaws. The verses are strong, and I do like elements of the chorus, but I think the instrumental is definitely the center of attention here. But hey, I never really listened to this band for their strong lyrics, so it's pretty easy for me to overlook this and continue enjoying the song. True Friends might possibly be my favorite. It was love upon first listen. So, I don't want to jump the gun here, but I think this date's going pretty great. What do you say we go back to my place? I wouldn't hold my breath if I was you. I'm sorry, I did not mean to be that forward. I forget, but I'll never forgive you. Sounds like this relationship is doomed. It's undeniably infectious, swooping in with this symphonic meets hard rock tinge and selling its message of betrayal oh so well. Pop sensibilities show up most prominently on the track Drown, which boasts this towering hook, compelling vocals, and a strong lyrical potency about a broken man that's really just crying out desperately in his time of need. I'm not saying that this track is ready to be serviced to top 40 radio, it's just that the guitars are very melodic here and all these vocals have a nice charming quality to them. I'm just glad that this track made the record instead of that other song Don't Look Down, because yikes. The final tracks that I wanted to give a mention to are Blasphemy and Avalanche, a pair of tunes that have certainly sparked my curiosity. Drown transitions seamlessly into Blasphemy, which hits you right off the bat with Sykes singing, "You've got hell to pay, but you've sold your soul already." Avalanche delivers one of, if not the most impressive drum performances on the entire album. I just can't stop myself from drumming along to this one while I sing along to the chorus. Don't judge me though, because you're going to be doing the exact same thing after you listen to it a time or two. I went into this album expecting to like it, but I came out loving almost all of it. Sure, there's a few moments that miss their respective targets, but I don't find myself skipping over a single track, and that's always a good thing. Play it from start to finish, play it a little fucking louder, because That's the Spirit by Bring Me the Horizon gets a strong 4, you know what, maybe even a light 4.5 from me. Well, that was a doozy. That was more takes than I've had to do on an album review in quite a while. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of That's the Spirit. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments section down below. Don't forget to smash the like button while you're at it. Maybe subscribe to the channel, because friends don't let friends go unsubscribed. If there are other albums you'd like to see me tackle, let me know with a comment down below. You can click right here to go to my second channel where I do track reviews, a couple of other different series, music news, and that sort of thing. Or you can click right here to go to the last review that I did on this channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you very soon, right here on ARTV.